Tiff and Rach here. We are the Nobodies, and this is our podcast. We are here unpacking what feels like day 75, day 4, but is actually day 5 of our training. Is today day 5? Yeah, so we're unpacking day 4. Time is an accordion. It expands and contracts in bizarre ways when you're in this type of immersion training. So what was your experience, Rach, from yesterday, day 4 of training?
Day 4, we had a morning of exchanging, and I had actually a really lovely experience with somebody who we had been in class with in our previous term, and I hadn't worked with him before, and we had a really nice exchange, somebody with like nice touch, but also somebody who was very in tune with themselves, so I was able to glean a little bit more about my technique, and someone who has like a more built and muscular body. So it was I enjoyed the morning. And Tom actually did like a really cool dissection bit. He loves using his slides and his video from his dissections and gleaning where everything comes together in a body and how it comes together. We had this really interesting conversation about the muscle sternalis, which doesn't really exist, he says, on humans anymore. It's just a fascial connection, which used to be along our chest bone. And in a picture that he was showing from very old text, anatomy text, it was showing like it was an extension of the rectus abdominis muscles.
Six-pack.
Like your six-pack. And he kind of was surmising that the ability to see that kind of development, muscular development in that muscle was from the days when people used to chop wood nonstop and be doing very front-faced physical labor. And we just don't do that anymore. And so when they see the sternalis muscle in some of these prosections, there is like kind of like a come over here and look, because it's like a thing of the past almost. Like we're evolving out of it.
The same with like a psoas minor or a fibularis tertius, which is one of the side of your shin muscles. The psoas minor is one of those hip flexors that connects your lower back to the front of your hip. And a lot of people just have a fascial connection there instead of the full muscle within the fascia.
Yeah, it was, I actually gleaned quite a bit from that. And just to talk about how we've changed the use of our bodies.
Like how we used to be ligament, which ligaments are these strong sort of cables that
are still fascia.
Yeah, for sure. And we still have them. They connect bone to bone. And they generally are what's moderating or limiting movement. So you have these ligaments all around your knee, and they help give you stability so your knee doesn't fly off of itself. But we used to be made more of these ligamentous tissues, and it's almost as if the muscle grew within that. And then we have what we have now, which is this really layered, strong fascial system with these sort of muscles and bones floating in the midst.
Yeah, and then yesterday afternoon, we did a model session with our outside models. We got to meet them, which was it's always just like this real interesting, like you don't know who you're going to get. These are people off the street. These are the everybody's.
And they are, and then sometimes too, we're working with people who are maybe body workers themselves or have experience with this style of work, but not with us as an individual.
I think it speaks to the person who I was paired with, who is a structural integrator, not taught in the Anatomy Trains school, but was taught with Anatomy Trains lines. So talking about the fascial lines and the 12 session series. And she immediately, within the first few contacts that I made with her tissue, she was like, oh, this is very different than what I work with people. And so it was like she was trying to glean little bits from that as well. You know, she was trying to kind of pick up and see what I was doing. And as for not hopping back and forth, but stepping into a body read when you are being moderated by Tom Myers is one of those places of I'm so grateful in every like aspect of my being that I get to have that experience with him. But he sees like hundreds of steps into the future that I have yet to like procure that kind of accuracy and visual.
Sight.
And I can't
It's
say
beyond visual.
it is. It's a feels. He feels people's patterns.
People.
Yeah, he feels people.
Them.
Yeah.
Yep. And I have a glimpse and a glimmer of that. But what happens for me when I'm standing there trying to speak to what I see is I turn into a blithering idiot.
Yeah.
And I feel real stupid. and I'm trying to... I saw something this morning and it was talking about having a failibration. And it's talking about celebrating failure because it's a part of any process to become better at something. And Tom often says anything worth doing is worth doing poorly at first. And I'm quite reminded of that right now as I feel after the first session with both my student partner who's sitting next to me and my outside model. I feel like I'm surrendering to this process and I'm saying, I'm going to follow these lines. I'm going to try to show up the best that I can, and I'm going to see what happens, and I'm going to learn. Because right now, I feel like I have no idea what I'm doing.
In the most educated of ways. That's like we've both never wanted to see further into the future the way Tom does because it's such a beautiful experience watching him see into people. It really is. And it's like curious, and something that was brought to our attention yesterday was that he is the thing that he kind of asks of us at 75 years old. He studies every day.
He practices
what he preaches, and you can't deny that in his presence, in his energy, in his awareness. And this isn't like an ode to Tom, but it was something yesterday seeing us start this series with outside people. You want to bring your best for them, and you're also wanting to take away everything that you can from an experience that is so immersive. We wake up at, sometimes 4 o'clock, 4 or 5 a.m., and we are then on for the day. It is with every attempt to make sure we're with the people that we're with and asking the pertinent questions, because this is all time is precious, but it feels like we have been gifted this like really interesting immersive experience where you're really only your own worst enemy with your attention. Mm-hmm. And so if you want to utilize this time effectively, attention is everything. Mm-hmm.
And that's what we're trying to do with our clients, with these humans, is bring attention to things that are quiet, to bring attention to things unknown, unseen, unfelt. And so how can we ask that and evoke that in someone if we ourselves are not in our bodies, aren't with our own attention, trying to bring them together with us, right? It's a togetherness journey. It's all about doing this thing together. And so part of our commitment to ourselves at home and here is listening to our bodies first. So that's why we're up so early. We go to the gym and today, both of us can lift heavy ass weights. We be strong women. And today we made the choice to deload. We did all of our exercises super slow and with great awareness. And even that is, part of this brutal attention that we're creating and requiring. And it makes this experience even more a bit taxing, right, than normally, right? And so these days are long and thick and so worthwhile, and we're here for it.
Yeah, and already being here for 5 days, it feels both like a
lifetime
and a minute.
A whisper.
Yes.
Yeah.
Millisecond. And so we're going to come on this journey, and you know what? Whoever listens to this one day, or maybe never, but we want to document it, because taking snapshots in time is quite fun. And you can't repeat it. And it's nice to come back to these times and remember how we felt this time in our education, and thinking about practicing something, the 10,000 hour rule about becoming an expert at something. Tom's had 55 years of doing this work. it is daunting to think of my 20 years in body work, how now crawling in so slowly into these paths that I'm on now of the fascial system and awakening myself to these patterns and the body in a very different light. I love that I'm here, but I'm also thinking like I always felt like that would bring me a step ahead. I feel like I need to just not erase what I know, but forget everything to start anew and see things in a different lens. And so we're gonna hop on out.
Doing.
Yeah, we're doing it.
Well, Tiff and Rach here, documenting our anatomy trained structural integration journey as a part of the beginning of this podcast, the Know Bodies. And the reason we're called that is because we want for you to know, KNOW, your body. That is our top goal, is this sense of attunement, understanding, proprioception, so that you can be the best expression of yourself. Because as Martha Graham said, you are the only you that will ever exist. And if you hide that expression, it's lost forever. And we don't want that. Tiff and Rach out.
Peace out.